We are counting down the 10 biggest design mistakes that make homes look cheap, no matter your budget. From one-dimensional color choices to details that quietly scream contractor grade, these ranking factors prove that expensive does not always mean impressive. Which common error ranks as the #1 offender? Let us find out, starting with a small but mighty color mistake at number 10. One of the fastest ways to make a room feel like a showroom is the single accent trap. Pick a shade, say emerald green, and plaster it on every pillow, vase, and throw, and suddenly the space goes flat. Designers call it paint chip syndrome because it looks like you decorated straight from a single swatch. The fix? Layer 2 to 4 tones from the same color family and mix up the materials. Use forest green velvet, moss suede, and emerald ceramic. Same family, different depth. Studies show that rooms with varied hues and textures read as more sophisticated and intentional, even if every piece came from the clearance aisle. Clutter is the silent killer of good design. Psychologists have found that clutter doesn't just raise your stress levels, it actually lowers how valuable and comfortable a room feels. Surfaces overloaded with trinkets, scattered mail, or a sofa drowning in 47 cushions. That's not cozy, that's cognitive overload. Designers swear by containment, trays corral the chaos, baskets gather the loose ends, and every item gets a home. The quickest fix is free. Tonight, remove 3 things from your most cluttered surface. Suddenly, the space breathes. Editing isn't about perfection, it's about making room for what matters. Generic decor is the silent saboteur of style. Mass-produced live, laugh, love signs, formulaic prints, and copy-paste wall art turn a home into a display unit, stripped of anything personal or real. Designers have been roasting these cliches since the late 2010s, and for good reason. If it is not beautiful, functional, or sentimental, it does not belong on display. Blank walls beat meaningless filler every time. The solution does not have to be expensive. Thrift store art runs $5 to $20, and custom prints on Etsy start around $30. Authenticity always trumps trend, and your space deserves more than a slogan. Curtains can make or break a room, but most people get one thing wrong: fullness. Hanging panels high and wide is a designer move, but if those panels are too skinny, your windows end up looking like they are wearing hospital gowns, barely covered and awkward. The fix is pure math. Measure the width of your window, then multiply it by 2 to 2.5. That is how much curtain you need. So for a 2-meter window, you want 4 to 5 meters of fabric. This is where the IKEA Ritva comes in. $30 a pair, and buying 2 or 3 sets gives you the fullness that looks intentional, not accidental. Designers swear by this formula because it instantly upgrades the scale and presence of your windows, making even budget curtains look custom. Every builder-grade home comes with the same cast of characters: the infamous boob light, a flat mirror above the sink, silver cabinet knobs, and a ceiling full of pot lights. These fixtures were not chosen for style, they were picked for speed and cost. Mass-produced since the 1980s to finish houses fast. The problem? They signal indifference. But here is the secret. Swapping them out is the fastest way to make your space look intentional. A new flush mount runs $40 to $120. Bathroom lights start at $60. Even changing cabinet hardware, $3 to $8 each, makes a difference. Mirrors with a little shape or frame cost $50 to $200. If you do one thing, start with lighting. Designers agree nothing boosts a room's value per dollar like a warm, layered glow. Replace every visible bulb with 2700 Kelvin warm white, and watch your home instantly feel more expensive. Buying a matching furniture set might feel like the safe choice, but it is the quickest way to make your living room look like a big box store display. Merchandisers love selling sets because it is easy for shipping and inventory, not because it creates a great room. The opposite extreme, grabbing random pieces with no common thread, can be just as bad, leaving your space feeling chaotic and unfinished. Designers approach it differently. They anchor the room with one main piece, then add complementary, not identical, items. Mix up pattern scales and play with shapes. but keep a shared color or material running through the space. When the same accent color or texture shows up in small ways from room to room, everything feels intentional. The result is not a showroom or a jumble, but a space that looks curated, unique, and far more expensive than it really is. Rooms that ignore the upper half of the walls always feel unfinished, no matter how much you spend on the rest. Designers call it the waist-high syndrome. Everything stops at eye level, leaving a blank expanse above. But the brain craves closure. Environmental psychologists have found that people rate rooms as more comfortable and complete when tall elements draw the eye up. Even a $30 floor lamp or a $40 tall faux plant can change the entire sense of scale. Try hanging art 6 to 12 inches higher than you think you should, or stack a gallery wall above a credenza. The effect is immediate. Ceilings feel taller, the space feels intentional, and the room finally looks designed from top to bottom. Small budget, dramatic payoff. Verticality is the secret weapon for a space that feels finished. Smooth synthetic surfaces might look sleek in catalog photos, but in real life they drain all the warmth out of a room. Environmental psychologists have found that humans are wired to crave texture. Our brains actually process layered, tactile spaces as safer and more inviting. That is why a room with nothing but MDF, polyester, and plastic feels sterile, like a waiting room, not a home. Designers call this tactile luxury, and it is not just for high-end budgets. A secondhand wool rug, even at $100, adds instant coziness underfoot. Linen curtains, $30 to $80 a pair, soften harsh light and bring organic depth. Woven baskets, real wood, stone, or even a single leafy plant all break up the monotony and make a room feel lived in. Studies show that textured rooms get rated as warmer and higher quality, no matter the price tag. This week, try adding one new texture to your space and see how quickly it shifts the vibe. Fake finishes are the fastest way to drain credibility from a space, no matter how much you spend. Our brains are wired to spot the difference between real and imitation, sometimes in a fraction of a second. Pattern repetition, unnatural gloss, and a plastic feel all trigger that gut-level sense that something is off. Printed wood veneer that repeats the same knot every foot, vinyl marble with wild high contrast veins, or bargain bin faux plants with shiny leaves all get clocked as inauthentic. Neuroscience backs this up. The human mind is tuned to recognize natural materials by their subtle imperfections and tactile variety. When everything tries to mimic but nothing quite matches, the result is a room that feels untrustworthy and oddly lifeless. The fix is not to ban all faux, but to use it with restraint. Limit yourself to 1 or 2 high-quality imitations, like a $50 plus faux plant mixed among real ones, or a subtle wood-look piece with real grain texture. Skip anything that screams printed or plastic. When in doubt, choose honest materials over anything pretending. A little authenticity goes a long way, and even budget-friendly options like real veneer from IKEA or thrifted ceramics can make your space feel genuine, layered, and far more expensive. A house can be filled with marble countertops, custom cabinets, and high-end furniture, and still feel hollow. Designers see it all the time. Clients who spend tens of thousands in a single weekend, checking off every trend, only to realize their home feels like a showroom, not a sanctuary. The missing piece isn't money, it's intention. Cheap isn't about your budget, it's about choices made without thought, just to fill the space or finish the job. The fastest way to break the cycle is to shift how you invest, no matter your price point. Start with lighting. Swapping every bulb for 2,700 Kelvin warm white costs less than dinner out, but the mood change is instant. Next, declutter. Edit every surface until only what matters remains. Then anchor each room with a single statement piece, a vintage rug, a bold mirror, or art that actually means something to you. This hierarchy, lighting, declutter statement, has transformed homes in every price range. Years ago, I bought everything at once, thinking I'd shortcut the process. The result was a space that looked expensive but felt empty. Only when I began replacing things one by one, choosing with care, did it finally feel like home. Intention isn't a luxury. It's the secret ingredient that makes any space feel truly valuable. Across all 10 entries, one truth stands out. Intention, not income, shapes how a home feels. The pattern isn't about price tags. It's about mindful choices, material honesty, and layers that reflect real life. Design isn't display, it's personal. That's what turns any space from cheap to cherished.